Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Hey everybody, Cowboy here, 8:30 a.m. EST, and we are looking at the USDJPY in a second here. Let me flip that screen over. So we had a bit of a surprise move up last night, and this is because Prime Minister Takaichi went ahead, went ahead and said, as I share the screen over here, let's actually not do that. I'm going to find the article from one of our members over at Algo Factory. I'm going to put it over here. Takaichi said they're going to lean towards monetary easing. I know everybody thought that when the snap elections happened and her group basically kind of took over the lower house of parliament, that we would see some monetary tightening. We would see maybe higher interest rates even, right? So protection of their own currency, but it seems as if she might be backpedaling on that, at least for now. Says here, Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi voiced concerns about raising internet rates. I'm sorry. Wow. So everybody, I actually have a fever and I'm sweating, so I might be not all there, but let me start this over. Voiced concerns about raising interest rates to Bank of Japan's Governor Kazuo Ueda during their meeting February 16th. Long story short, what she's saying is that, okay, we were going to hike rates to protect our currency in our country, and maybe we shouldn't do that so much. I'm concerned that this is going to, make a problem, whatever the case might be. So I don't really understand exactly why they did the snap election. That I'm not sure of, but I know a lot of the people expected that to mean that they would protect their own currency and effectively have a form of independence away from the international sort of the whole yen carry trade, using the Japanese yen as liquidity for the stock market. And so what that's going to do ultimately is going to kind of continue the status quo where the Japanese yen will be used as liquidity for the world's stock markets, and probably first and foremost the US stock market, and also allow Britain to recapitalize, because the City of London has the capability to just reuse the same capital, where they can get cheap Japanese bonds, use that to trade for other assets, and then those other assets can be recapitalized and recollateralized to be used to trade for other stuff over and over and over and over. And Britain can go ahead and pretend like they have a lot of assets that way, and still exercise power across the world. So in effect, not that Britain is the only country doing this, but I should say really the City of London, but that is what they're doing. And it's a key piece of British, their version of hegemony over the finance system. So a deal must have been made, and that's just what's happening. And we'll see if that deal continues. It is pushing up the Japanese yen. We are seeing, I should say, it's pushing it down. We're seeing the USDJPY, which is the dollar versus the yen, pop up very strong, and that's what happened overnight, and that's why it happened. And I would be interested to see if that actually happened with the stock market as well. It didn't really have an effect per se. Maybe a little bit of a bump up around the time that the announcement was made, but not. I don't really see an effect on here. The Nasdaq is just kind of chopping around, not doing a whole lot, so I'm not sure that there is an effect. Let's move over here. Okay. So let me just make sure we actually have. Sorry, I'm just making sure my technology is working properly. So that said, let's go ahead and just kind of run through the charts. We have the State of Union address tonight from Trump, so that might have a lot to do with what happens with the stock market. When you have the expectation of war, what you will see is precious metals move up. And it's hard to say exactly what will happen with the stock market. I've heard the old term, buy to the sound of bombs and sell to the sound of trumpets. I'm sure that really applies to certain aspects of the stock market. If I was to look at the defense sector, it's probably doing really well right now. Let's look at Raytheon. We have right now, let's see here, Raytheon. Not seeing a ticker for Raytheon. I don't really look at them too often. Raytheon Tech, NASDAQ. I'm sure I'm just not getting the ticker right on this. Let's look at Lockheed. Okay, so Lockheed seems to be doing pretty well over the last, since the first of the month, really. Had a little dip there on the 4th, but it is up from 600 to 660. So the Lockheed's up 10% just in a few weeks, right? Since the 5th of February up to right about now, which is the 25th, 4th. So in 3 weeks, it's up 10%, which is massive. It's a big number for a stock, for such a large stock, by the way. And Lockheed's just been going up steadily, really, since December of 2025. It's up from 430 up to 660. I think that is something like 30%, maybe 20. Oops. Let's measure that exactly. 50%? Holy dude, wow, my math is way off there. Yeah, that makes sense. So Lockheed Martin is up over 50% since December. That's insane. But that should be telling you, exactly what's going on in the defense business. In fact, I know I'm related to people who have a machine shop that gets a lot of federal contracting out in the California area, and they've been very busy for a long time, for months now. So that kind of tells you what's going on. What is? We'll look up Raytheon's ticker. Let's see here. While that's spinning around, we'll take a look here at some other items. Pardon me, like I said earlier, I'm a little under the weather, not as quick as I could be. Let's look RTX Corporation for Raytheon. Same thing, more or less. Same chart pattern. RTX is up. If you go back to, it's just done nothing but go up since 2024, really. I imagine that has to do with a lot of things. But if you measure back to 2024, Raytheon is up almost 200%. It's almost tripled since early 2024. And if you look, just going back to this sort of sideways move, and you go to May of 2025, it's almost double. It's up 82%. It's massive. A lot of money going into that sector. If you're in defense, you're doing okay. That's for sure. So we see what's going on there. State of the Union tonight. Trump's going to probably talk about Iran, and we'll see what he has to say there. A lot of people will be watching that with the microscope on, saying, okay, he said this, it probably means that. So we could get some action in the markets. Stock market will be closed. It would be, post-market trading for that. But certainly the indices futures and the forex markets may see some action on that. And precious metals futures probably will see something going on. But back to the USDJPY, this move up was, again, this strong move up had to do with Takaichi. And we'll probably see it move all the way up to about 157.70. It's at least just looking at the bear price action, BARE, not bear as in, bulls and bears. But there's a bit of challenge up there. This is why I think it's only going to, I think a good way to look at this would be, it's probably going to be bullish. It's probably going to crawl up. You'll get some moves up, some pullbacks, and I'd be looking to buy those pullbacks, and then maybe look at the market as soon as it makes it up to this 157.70. Might be a good place to look at a short as well. That's kind of what I expect now. This is obviously different from the report that I put out yesterday. We didn't have, Prime Minister Takaichi didn't consult me before she made her announcement, right? She could have called me, say, hey, Nick, we're going to do this thing. So you might want to change your charts. We're going to do it right at this time. But she didn't call me. I was kind of expecting a little heads up. Come on, Prime Minister. Would appreciate that. But it is what it is. So I'll take one look at Bitcoin, and then we'll go to the private live lab. Just look, you guys. I predicted this. I did it. This chart's been available to Algo Factory and to everybody else for like a week. This is a week ago. This is very, very accurate, guys. It doesn't get much more accurate than this when you go, projecting out a week, right? This was on Monday last Monday that I drew this, right? So it's just been over a week. And I mean, that's really accurate, guys. Now, might it diverge from this? Might it go straight down or, not do exactly what I drew? Yeah, sure. But either way, even if I get the general idea correct, that's still pretty accurate. But the fact that I got it this accurate, I know I'm tooting my own horn here, and I said the same thing to the Algo Factory private members. But to get it that correct, that's that's the power of understanding both algos and price action, right? It's a combination of both of those things. So I just got to remind everybody. Let's see, still on point. So when you understand price action, when you understand algorithms, you get all that stuff. You get to accurately predict price. And when you can do that, you can actually extract money from the markets on a regular basis. That's what we teach at Algo Factory. Look in the description. There's a link to a free algo. It's a video where I actually build the algo as you watch. I turn the algo into code so that you can see how I do that and actually put it on the screen. And then I show you the tools that traders use to connect their algo to their broker so they can trade where they're not even sitting at the computer. They can have it trade for them. Of course, this would be once you have optimized the algo for whatever you're trading, right? So it's not like you just do it. You got to make sure the algo works for whatever you're trading. But it's all in there. Free algo. Click on it. We'll be back tomorrow, the 25th, and it'll be 8:30 a.m. EST. Again, I was under the weather today, and ideally I will be better tomorrow. I think I'm better today than I was yesterday. So I do plan to be on tomorrow. So come on over, algofactory.tech, and learn how to trade like a hedge fund pro. Thank you for watching, and don't forget,
join us or die.